Oh, wasn't that ever a treat? So good morning and welcome to FUS, First Unitarian Society in Madison. My name is Becky Burns and my pronouns are she or they, or as Kelly sometimes types them into the script as she or thy. And if you'd like to call me thy, I think I'm open to that. So I'm a worship associate here and also a member of our Pathways team. And today I'm joined by the Reverend Kelly Crocker and by the worship team of Linda Warrens, Stephen Gregorius, and Daniel Carnes. And thank you so much to our guest musicians, Dara Degnan, Rachel Dudley, and MJ Harris, two of which will help us with our hymns today as a special treat. Our service today has been created by participants of this year's Pathways program. And we give thanks to Connie and Tara, Karen Rose, and Mara Lee for being with us today. Pathways is a 10-month spiritual development program where participants get to know themselves and one another within intentional community. We hope that by the end of today's service, you may consider signing up for this coming year's program. If that's the case, please see Kelly Crocker or Janet Swanson after the service. We also encourage you to speak with any of our participants today, anyone wearing the Pathways name tag, and also happen to be sitting in the first two rows over here. All these folks participated in this past year's program and be happy to chat with you. Great thanks to all those volunteering today in the many roles as greeters and ushers, hospitality providers, lay ministers, and technicians. At First Unitarian Society, we question boldly, listen humbly, grow spiritually, act courageously, and love unapologetically. If you are visiting us today, welcome. We're so very glad that you are with us. And if you'd like more information about First Unitarian Society, please stop by the welcome table located in the Commons out to your left. We hope that you'll be able to stay and join us for a coffee hour immediately after the service, also served in the Commons. For those of you connecting with us virtually today, we're glad that you're with us as well. And we hope that you'll take a moment after today's service and watch the announcement slides with information about upcoming programs and activities. And now I invite you to join me in a moment of silence as we center ourselves and bring ourselves fully into this place and time as we join once again in community.
Come into this place which we make holy by our presence.
Come in with your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and are called to be.
Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven.
Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected.
Come into this place. Together we make it holy. And I invite you now to rise in all the ways we do, joining together in the words of affirmation as we light our chalice. Here today, in this place and with these people, may we listen so that we can hear, may we hear so that we can feel, may we feel so that we can know, and may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way. And before we join together in song, if you'll take a moment to turn and greet those around you.
And now, if you can remain standing, please remain standing and join us in hymn 1000, Morning Has Come.
Please be seated. And if there is anyone who would like to come up closer for our story, come on up. I'm gonna make Connie come sit on the floor with me. Madeline, I'm looking at you. Brent, come on up. Madeline, I said I'm looking at you. Go here. Oh, Sandy. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. Oh, what? Okay, best message for all ages ever is happening right now. Don't tell the children I said that, but this is amazing. So, our story today is Bloom. It's about this little fairy right here. And I picked this story today because 5 of our Pathways participants are going to be sharing about their journey over the past year. And at the end, I'll tell you why I made this connection. But they made me think of this sweet book. It's called Bloom. Once upon a time, in a beautiful glass kingdom, there lived an unusual fairy named Bloom. Her boots were caked with mud. There was dirt between her teeth. Beetles rested in her wings. Bloom's magic could spin sand into glass, turn weeds into blossoms, and grow a trickle of rainwater into a racing river. Bloom was a helpful creature, but her footsteps were heavy, and she left a trail of tiny cracks and mud wherever she went. As the years passed and the kingdom became larger and shinier, the people cared less about Bloom's magic and noticed only the mess she left behind. They complained about her heavy feet and her muddy fingerprints. Bloom had finally had enough. She left without saying goodbye and went to live in the heart of the forest. Both the kingdom and Bloom were extraordinarily happy with the choice she had made. Years and years went by, and the glass kingdom had fallen into a state of disrepair. It was held together by duct tape, glue, and peasants. The king was reminded of the powerful creature who once lived in the kingdom. His royal court offered to find her, but the king declined their help. Surely a creature with such power will answer only to a king. Very well, Your Highness, but tread lightly. Fairies are delicate and easily frightened, advised the royal court. The king entered the forest on his swiftest steed, determined to find the creature and save his kingdom. Bloom felt the horse's hoofbeats and came to greet the king. I am looking for a magical creature gone so many years ago. I'm here, she answered. The king glanced at Bloom with her dirty hair and clunky shoes. Show me magic that will save my kingdom, he ordered. Bloom placed a bucket of mud at the king's feet. How dare you, bellowed the king. He dismissed Bloom as a trickster and rode off. Suit yourself, said Bloom, perfectly happy to go back to her own business. When the king returned empty-handed, many days later, the queen decided that she was much better suited to find a magical fairy. Maybe your deep voice frightened her off, said the queen reassuringly. I must go in your place. The next day, she entered the forest accompanied by a single guard. Bloom heard their footsteps and once again, curious, stepped out to greet the queen. I am looking for a magical creature gone so many years ago, announced the queen. I'm here, answered Bloom. Show me the magic that will save my kingdom, ordered the queen. Bloom placed a bucket of mud at the queen's feet. How dare you, bellowed the queen. She dismissed Bloom as a trickster and rode off. Have it your way, said Bloom. She picked up her bucket and skipped back to where she came from. What of the magical creature? Asked the king upon the queen's return. Broken glass crunched under her feet as she crossed the room. Rain fell from the cracks in the ceiling. Clearly, it is too frightened to speak directly with royalty, announced the queen. We must send someone ordinary. Genevieve was exactly that, the smallest and quietest in the kingdom. Her only job in the palace was to collect, wash, and dry the queen's exquisite crystal sugar spoon. It was the single object in the kingdom that had not yet cracked. The queen summoned Genevieve to her chambers and explained the dire situation. You are our last hope, she said kindly. I will not fail you, my queen, Genevieve said in her tiny voice. She brushed the broken glass out of her hair, packed a small bag, and left for the forest. Genevieve traveled through the dark woods without carriage or guard. Bloom heard the sound of her feet pressing into the ground and stepped out to greet the girl. I'm looking for a magical creature gone so many years ago, said Genevieve. I'm here, said Bloom. Have you any magic to save the kingdom? Bloom placed a bucket of mud at the girl's feet. Perhaps if I explain, said Genevieve. You see, our kingdom is built of glass and falling to pieces. Bloom placed a shovel at Genevieve's feet. I'm happy to help you with your chores, of course, but perhaps you can show me the magic first, Genevieve asked. Bloom studied the tiny girl for a moment. She was so delicate, she'd barely left a footprint behind her. What is your work in the kingdom? Asked Bloom. I collect, wash, and dry the queen's crystal sugar spoon, Genevieve told her. Is that all you can do? Said Bloom, hoping she didn't sound too harsh. Actually, I'm not really sure, said Genevieve. It's all I'm allowed to do, lest my hands get too rough and dirty to properly care for the spoon. Why would the king and queen send such a delicate child with such a delicate job deep into the dark forest to do something they could not?" asked Bloom. "Because I'm ordinary," answered Genevieve. A dark shadow passed over Bloom's face. She picked up her bucket, she picked up her shovel, she took the girl by the hand. "I will show you the magic that will save your kingdom," said Bloom. Bloom led the girl into a clearing with a small house, a working fire, and an enormous pit of mud. She plunged both hands into the pit. She hurled the brown glob onto the ground. She quickly made a mud pie. I love how horrified Genevieve is. "You try it," said Bloom. "I mustn't," cried Genevieve. "I'll never be able to touch the queen's sugar spoon again." "Do you want to save the kingdom?" asked Bloom. Genevieve did not want to fail the queen. She closed her eyes, stuck her hands into the bucket, and pulled out a scoop of wet, gloopy earth. Nervously, she shook her hands and the mud fell to the ground, splattering everywhere. "Not bad," said Bloom with a smile. Genevieve laughed and brushed the splatters off of her feet. "Now try again," Bloom encouraged. This time, Genevieve enjoyed the cool, shifting feel of the mud, so different from the delicate spoon. She flung it to the ground, exactly as Bloom had. "Nicely done," Bloom said. Smiling, Genevieve shaped the mud into a small, round pie. "Perfect," announced Bloom. "Now, let's make some magic." Genevieve watched Bloom as she shaped one of the mud pies into a perfect brick. She pulled back her hair with her muddy fingers, rolled up her sleeves, and tried to do the same. She made a lopsided, lumpy oval brick. "You'll get it," said Bloom. After 16 more tries, Genevieve made a perfect brick. "What else can I do?" asked the girl. "You'll see," said Bloom. Shovel after shovel, bucket after bucket, she showed Genevieve how to add straw into the mud. That made the bricks even stronger. When her pile of bricks towered over her head, Genevieve was not tired at all, but eager to do more. Bloom showed her how to make mortar by mixing mud with sand. "What's that for?" Genevieve asked. "You'll see," said Bloom, and brick by brick, row by row, wall by wall, the fairy and the girl built a sturdy house in the middle of the forest. "I can't believe what we've done," shouted Genevieve. "You must go back to the kingdom and share your magic," said Bloom. "But how can I bring back a house?" asked the girl. "You can't. You can only tell the king and the queen what you can do," said Bloom. "They'll never believe that an ordinary girl could do such an extraordinary thing," Genevieve worried. "What would I tell them?" "Tell them there is no such thing as ordinary." Genevieve returned to the kingdom. Her feet were caked in mud. There was dirt between her teeth. Beetles were nesting in her hair. She knocked on the palace door, and it shattered into pieces. "I am here," she shouted. Then an ordinary girl rebuilt a kingdom. Yay! Thank you. Thank you all for being up here. I love this book, and that's the reminder for today, as you'll hear from our Pathways folks. There's no such thing as ordinary, and every one of you has the magic you need right in your very hands. Thank you all. We are going to sing our next hymn.
As our young at heart return to their seats, please stand in all the ways that we do and join us in singing hymn 1029. Love knocks and waits for us to hear.
Good morning. I'm Karen Rose Gredler, and I was an ordinary person. I had originally been interested in participating in the Pathways program as a means for better defining my life review, as some of us elders do as we approach old age, whatever that is. I'm happy to say that my Pathways program experience has been indeed helpful to me in reviewing my life's journey up to this date. 75 years is a long time, and through our many exercises and discussions, I was able to remember and consider many earlier occurrences which haven't been on my personal radar for years. In a few cases, I was even able to reconsider my take on some early experiences that have been prominent in my life. This includes many things along my spiritual journey, such as births, deaths, failures, and achievements. Things we may want to keep off our daily radar, but which we can benefit from reconsidering with a fresh eye. My Aunt Rose's death and my daddy's death are two of these in point. An overarching and continually example of this is my lifelong consideration of having been adopted as a child, an infant actually. Despite the wonderful and very loving family within which I was raised, I've never been able to completely rid myself of the feeling of not being good enough. I can only assume this originates in my having been, as I always say, given away by my birth mother. In the adoption community, this is often referred to as the primal wound. Many adoptees, like me, understand and feel very comfortable with, intellectually at least, with the adoption experience, yet cannot eliminate that gut feeling that causes us to see ourselves as lesser and always needing to do and achieve more to be better. Pathways has allowed me to re-examine my adoption and only begin, to formulate new concepts and become open to various interpretations of that experience. This is a true gift. And even if it were my only gift from Pathways, it would be life-changing. But it's not my only gift. Connections with FUS friends is certainly another exceptional gift I've received. I've met or grown to know much better people whom I seem to have missed before, for various reasons, of course, but with whom I now feel strong and loving connections. They're there, and some more that aren't here. Another Pathways gift is coming to understand that my golden years can include more and even richer experiences than I'd thought, and that those activities will enhance my life and give me many more things to review sometime later. Through Pathways, I learned that 75 is actually not terribly old, and especially that within the increasing confines of physical age and various health issues, there is also room for new experiences and sometimes even new adventures. What a thrill for me to recognize that I am not done for, even though I may more frequently feel done in. This recognition has encouraged me to look not only back, but also ahead with hope and anticipation for my future. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tara Johnson. When I started Pathways, I was relatively new to FUS. I remember the first day when we all introduced ourselves. We were in a circle in this room, and I think now I'm like, oh my God, I must have sounded like such a newbie, because I said I was new to spiritual practices and a bit of an individualistic entrepreneurial warrior in my life, who was looking to learn and become part of a spiritual community. And all of that was true. Because I was in Pathways and throughout Pathways, I realized two important things that were also true. The first thing I realized was I thought I was a spiritual newbie because I equated spirituality with my Lutheran upbringing. So in my head, if it wasn't Lutheran, it wasn't spiritual. In fact, I've had a 15-year long yoga practice and a 3-year meditation practice. And I've done loads of reading in what I always thought of as like New Age faith stuff. But I've realized what was missing was community. I didn't have a faith community and the routinized practices that come along with that. And that's what I found at Pathways and also at FUS. The second thing I realized that my dad, while being a keeper of the Lutheran torch in our family, also passed on his Aldo Leopold land ethic to me. I remembered riding in the car with him and having him tell me about Sand County Almanac. And this explained a lot to me, like a whole bunch of things about myself became clear. It explains my work life over the years and certainly why I've been so passionate about climate change. It also helped me understand how pivotal nature is in my spiritual life and the importance of my passing this down to my grandchildren, the way my dad did with me. So since going through all of this, throughout all of this, two major things have happened in my life. The first is with the support of and encouragement of my small group. So in Pathways, we met as a large group, but we also had a small group. I did something that was really hard for me to do. I asked my son whether I could park an Airstream on his 80 acres on Lake Superior that he got from my ex-husband. This involved getting my ex-husband to give permission for me to do this because he has a life estate on that property. Without Pathways, I never would have done this. So forgiveness, it turns out, is a real thing. And he said yes. My Airstream is now parked up there, and I'm still trying to figure it all out. I've taken time there to breathe the sweet, cold air off Lake Superior and to notice things that have told me that this was the right thing for me to do. The first time I was there, I saw a doe lead her fawn across the creek down to the lake. And remember, like a big motivation for me to do this is passing this to my grandchildren. The second time I was there, I saw a bald eagle teaching her young how to eat carrion on the side of the little driveway that goes up to my Airstream. My 3-year-old granddaughter has told me now that she wants to stay in the Airstream with Nana and bake cupcakes. Trips to the lake are coming with my Pathway friends. The second thing that has happened is my partner in life, Brad, has begun a cancer journey with surgery this week and chemo and radiation to follow next week. My small group members have been reaching out in support, and I know they will be there as Brett and I navigate what is to come. I feel so much stronger and more capable of riding the ups and downs of life because of this faith community. Pathways brought me so much depth to my spiritual life and to my life journey in general, and it happened really quickly. I am forever grateful.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? So my name is Marilee Wertlake. We were invited to share about our experience with the Pathways program, and because it was such a positive experience for me, I was happy to do so. Before I go on, I want to say everyone speaking today is from my small group, which is really wonderful. But first for context, let me back up and tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a member at FUS for about 14 years. I originally came to FUS as an employee, but when I attended the General Assembly in Salt Lake City as a staff member, I found the evening services particularly affecting, reminding me of my childhood and how much being part of a church community had meant to me. I realized that maybe what I really needed at FUS wasn't so much the job, but rather the spiritual community. Consequently, I decided to take part in Quest, a 2-year spiritual development program at FUS that in many ways was the precursor or ancestor to Pathways. And following that program, I became a member and signed the book at FUS. So when Pathways was being offered for the first time last year, I found myself interested, but had to ask the question, why do another spiritual development program when you've already done one before? One reason was because I knew how impactful Quest had been for me. In fact, I don't believe I would be here speaking to you today as a member of FUS if I hadn't taken part in Quest before. But there were other more specific reasons that I decided to take part in Pathways, and those include the following. After the pandemic, I was having trouble re-engaging at FUS and I felt uncomfortable in group situations. It was holding me back from being involved here. There were a lot of new faces here that I didn't recognize. I felt rusty in my UU faith. I felt the need for spiritual community in dealing with the challenges we're facing as a country. And over the last 2 years, I've had double knee replacement, and simply put, I have more capacity than I've had for a long time. So how was my experience with Pathways, and what did I find? Well, I got to know some of those new faces at FUS. I reconnected with folks that I was already acquainted with, but I got to know them on a deeper level. I learned new things about myself and others through our time together in the program. I feel more at home at FUS again, and I can see where there are places for me to contribute. I feel revitalized in my UU faith and see the need for it more than ever with what we're facing. I had fun. My fellow Pathway travelers amazed and delighted me, and there were surprises. And I'll just keep them at surprises. Altogether, I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to have taken part in Pathways. It's hard to sum up such an experience, but I thought the way one person in our group put it was particularly beautiful and expressed how special the experience had been. They described it as being akin to forest bathing. And if you don't know the term, I'd encourage you to look up forest bathing. But that phrase to me seemed to me to be the highest praise one could perhaps give. So I put the question to you, what might you find and what surprises would be in store for you if you took part in Pathways. And there's only one way to find out. Thank you.
I think our next piece could be a Pathways theme song now that I'm hearing all these speakers. The text is by Victor Hugo, and our friend Abby Bettinas, a Minnesota composer, wrote it as she was finishing her second round of cancer treatments. These are the words. Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight a while, on boughs too slight, feels them give way beneath her, and sings, and sings and sings, knowing she has wings.
Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight a while on boughs too slight, feels them give way beneath her, and sings and sings and sings, knowing she hath wings. Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight, a while on boughs too slight, feels them give way beneath her, and sings and sings and sings, knowing she has wings. Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight, a while on boughs too slight, feels them give way beneath her, and sings and sings knowing she has wings.
Have you ever wondered what truly makes our Unitarian Universalism community thrive? What connects us beyond weekend services? And how do we truly become part of the vibrant heartbeat? I had the privilege of serving as a facilitator for the Pathways program, and I'm here to tell you it's far more than just a program. As you've already heard today, it's a journey. I initially supported Pathways because I believe deeply in its mission. As someone who serves on the nominations committee, I see firsthand that while many of us contribute in various ways here at FUS, a true deep understanding of our congregation's inner workings often is held by only a few longtime members. Pathways aims to change that. It offers unique opportunity for all members to learn about our beloved congregation while simultaneously fostering their own personal spiritual growth. For me, supporting this program was about helping more members truly find their place and become more fully engaged in our shared ministry. But what did I get out of it? Honestly, far more than I put into it. One of the most rewarding aspects was the opportunity to hold space for people to explore their own questions within our deepening circle. This is the magic of small group ministry. Over 10 months, life happened for the 9 members of our circle. We had an incredible age range spanning over a half a century of lived experience, and yet there was a profound mutual respect for everyone's journey. It's a rare and precious gift to listen, just to understand, without the urge to offer solutions or ask more questions. In that space, speakers can freely explore their innermost thoughts, and listeners can silently reflect, taking lessons from another's story that resonate with their own. Another aspect of Pathways that impressed me was its ability to flex and adapt to the group's needs. I recall one particularly impactful all-day session following our election. The intended topic for that Saturday evaporated as the group naturally and powerfully shifted the discussion to what was truly on everyone's hearts. The leadership from Kelly Crocker and Janet Swanson was simply masterful in navigating these moments, demonstrating remarkable adaptability and empathy. There were also incredible intentions about building connections across the entire Pathways cohort. When we gathered as a large group, we were always mixed into different small groups for discussion, allowing us to get to know each and every one. And my absolute favorite part of every gathering, no matter how much time it took, was when we all had the chance to light a candle and check in. It created an immediate sense of presence and connection and set the tone for everything else. Being a part of Pathways reinforced my belief in the power of shared ministry. It's a testament to how we can truly nurture our individual spirits while strengthening the very fabric of our congregation. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Connie. My preferred pronouns are she and they, and please ask me later why pronouns are important to me. I've been a UU for a long time, just about half my life. It's long enough to see how our community grows and it changes, and how through all those changes, something deep and steady continues to hold us as Unitarian Universalists. During the pandemic, I held it together pretty well. I'm a natural extroverted introvert. I work from home. I have an adorable coworker, my dog. We persevered. But by 2023, something had shifted for me. Like Marilee suggested earlier, re-entry into the world of people, it felt harder than I expected. I found myself saying no to invitations. I was skipping get-togethers. I was avoiding anything that meant being out among people. It wasn't fear exactly. It was just so cozy at home. It was safe. It was predictable. It was virtual. And then in 2023, I took a leap of faith. I spent 10 months in Monterey, California. And during that time, I re-immersed myself in Unitarian Universalism. Congregation there is wonderful, by the way. It really stirred something up in me. And when I returned to Dane County, I knew that I wanted more. Not just connection, I wanted deeper connection, and deeper UU connection specifically. And that's when I joined Pathways. About 25 of us gathered each month, congregants, staff, lay leaders. Each person came with their own story, their own questions, and their own quiet hopes. I didn't know what to expect. It wasn't a class. There wasn't a curriculum to master. There wasn't a test at the end. What there was space, time, intentional practice, and people, IRL, real people, willing to walk together. Every time we gathered, I was met with kindness, with presence, with the quiet reminder that spiritual growth doesn't always look big or dramatic. And sometimes it just looks like showing up quietly, faithfully. And over those months, for me, something began to shift. In that circle of people, I experienced grace. And not as a lofty idea, what is grace? I experienced it as something small and steady and real. And I saw it in the courage of someone sharing a really hard truth. I felt it often in the silence of our group when someone simply listened. And I noticed it in myself, becoming a little more open, a little more honest, a little more accepting of others and of myself. Pathways gave me everyday practices I return to often, like meditation and music. We all shared our favorite music, and it's one of my favorite days that I can recall when we talked about what music means to us. So I became more accepting, and all of that gave me a language for things I'd long felt, but I'd never quite named or defined. Things like spirit and grace and sacredness. And most of all, Pathways gave me those deeper connections I had been looking for, to the people in the circle, to this congregation, which, as many of you know, I love. I love this place. And I'm more connected to the larger things that hold us all, like our Unitarian Universalist values, which I think are more important than ever today. I believe in our covenant to each other, our UU covenant to each other, and our commitment to social justice in this extremely topsy-turvy world. I'm very proud to be a Unitarian Universalist. One lesson from my time in Pathways keeps echoing for me. We don't have to do this alone. I'm a Stoic Norwegian Lutheran, right? I learned how to do things alone, but I don't have to do that, and Pathways help to remind me of that. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't always talk about spiritual formation the way some traditions do, but we are seekers too. We're shaped by what we give our hearts to. And Pathways gave me a place to give my heart with intention, and I do that more and more every day. So if you're, like I was, wondering, is Pathways for me? If you're unsure, or you're asking yourself, do I belong in a space like that? I want to say gently and very clearly, you do. You don't need to be certain. You don't need to have the right words. You just need to be willing to listen to yourself, to others, and maybe to something sacred stirring in you. There is grace in that, and there's room for you on this path. Thank you.
Thank you all. They're just so fabulous. I invite you now into this time of giving and receiving, where we give freely and generously to an offering which supports the ongoing work of this community. There's multiple ways to share your gifts. Baskets being passed here in the room. You can donate directly from our website, and you'll see on the screen both the website and the text to give information. We thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we create together.
Peace shall come like early
Thank you. Each week we gather together, bringing with us the joys and the losses of our days. We share them here, knowing they are held in love and in support. We light a candle for the life of Bruce Noble, whose memorial service was held here yesterday. We give thanks for his life and for his legacy of love and caring that lives on in his children and grandchildren and all who knew and loved him. The gladiolas here today are from his service. They were his favorite. Brenda Ward asks us to light a candle to welcome her new granddaughter, Alice Ruby Alt, daughter of William and Rebecca Alt, to the world. Alice was born on July 9th. The family's doing great, and we are all over the moon with love for her. And we light a candle of love and concern for Brent and Dale Hagland. Brent is home from his 4th hospitalization since his stroke in early January. We send Brent our hopes for healing and strength as he continues to recover. And we send our love to Brent and Dale and Kryn as they journey these difficult days together. And we light a candle for all that lives in our hearts, the joys, losses, sorrows, celebrations, and for the love that remains with us through it all. If you'll join me now in a moment of prayer and contemplation with these words from Rebecca Savage. Sometimes we awake in the morning with a heaviness in our chest. Sometimes we awake in the morning with the endless to-do list rattling through our thoughts, the nagging reminders of what was left undone, and the pangs of I have to do it all again today. Sometimes we awake in the morning and we'd rather go back to sleep. We would rather escape under the covers, a rock, the bottom of the closet. And then the first sliver of sunshine may dance across our face, beautiful. And then the wafting scent of a new day may glide over us, beautiful. And then signs of life blossom around us to include inside of us, beautiful. Beauty is our birthright. Just as we are born in love, through love, to love, to nurture beauty is to return to our essence, to touch, taste, and experience creation as beautiful, as the fragile, wonderful, and wild, interdependent with the spirit of life, that which is so much greater than ourselves. Today and in all the days to come, may beauty wrap and delight us and guide our way. May beauty be yours, now and forever. Amen, and blessed be.
And now will you stand in all the ways that we do and then join us in our closing hymn, number 1007. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Thank you.
Go forth in simplicity, find and walk the path that leads to compassion and wisdom, that leads to happiness and peace. Welcome the stranger and open your heart to a world in need of healing. Be courageous before the forces of hate. Hold and embody a vision of the common good that serves the needs of all people. Blessed be, go in peace, and please be seated for the postlude.